Foreign students tend to have trouble socializing in certain social events due to not knowing what is acceptable to talk about at these types of gatherings. The following is an acceptable social interaction between an international teaching assistant and a professor from the student's department.
Hello, I'm Florence. Are you Professor Peter?
That's right. It's a pleasure to meet you, Florence.
Nice to meet you as well. I've heard about the research you've done, and I'm interested a little about it. Could you tell me?
Sure, yeah. Just pull up a chair. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
In these types of situations, don't be afraid to introduce yourself to your colleagues and mingle. Introduce yourself confidently and ask open-ended questions that can create conversation, such as, what is your field of work? It's important to keep conversations based on things that are shared at the party with everyone, such as the music playing or the food. Other topics, such as the weather, can also be discussed. For faculty education department type gatherings, you could also chat about work or educational topics that your department is involved in. Here's an example of what not to do at these types of gatherings.
Hey, did I see you at the bench last night hanging out with someone?
I don't think so. No.
That was you. You were the one breakdancing on the dance floor.
I'm afraid you're mistaken.
Personal life activities and conversations are usually not discussed at these sorts of events. Steer clear of these topics unless a group of people are already talking about other things such as these. If that is the case, it is okay to join in and get involved in the conversation when appropriate. Small talk is often used to fill uncomfortable silence. There are a number of different topics that can be brought up during small talk, such as weather, current events, sports, and entertainment. Small talk can take place while waiting online at a store, during dinner, almost anywhere. The following scene shows an example of small talk at a business lunch between two business associates who have never met in person before.
Hi, are you Peter?
Yes, you must be Brienne. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Would you like something to drink while we wait? My partner will be here very shortly.
You know, I'm actually okay, but why don't you tell me about your weekend? How'd it go?
I had a great weekend. How was yours?
No, I was really busy. The parents came out. They stayed for the weekend, so, it's a lot of running around.
Yeah. My husband and I, we went to Florida for the weekend. It was beautiful. The weather was amazing. Oh, here's my partner Florence now.
Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
The small talk that you just saw was a good example of staying on neutral territory with open-ended questions that allowed for continued and unstressed conversation. Now, we will show you a scene with the same situation, but with inappropriate small talk.
Hi, are you Peter?
Yes, you must be Brienne. Wow. You look much older than I thought.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for meeting with me on such short notice. My partner will be here any second. Do you want something to drink while we wait?
Yes, I would actually love a Corona with lime. I wonder how much that costs. Well, tell me about your weekend.
I had a great weekend. How was your weekend?
Well, it was busy. I decided to ask my wife for a divorce, so, things went as they did.
My family and I, we went to Florida. The weather was beautiful. Oh, here's my partner Florence now.
Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Oh, you look much nicer than my previous associate I met last week.
This scene was inappropriate for a number of reasons. When engaging in small talk, you should never discuss age. Doing so will make you look rude, especially on a business lunch. It is also never a good idea to discuss things that are too personal, such as family problems. When meeting a business associate for the first time, it's best to not order alcohol or discuss prices. It's also impolite to gossip about other people. Small talk is best carried out when sticking to safe topics.
Our next scene brings us to a classroom context, as students are waiting for the professor to arrive and start class. In such a situation, it is not uncommon for there to be small talk among the students while they wait for the professor. So this time period can be used by the international student to start small talk and meet fellow students, as it is not appropriate to do so after the professor begins class. The first clip will show a scene where an international student tries to engage in small talk and does so successfully. The second attempt with the same international student is considered to be unsuccessful.
It seems the weather is finally getting warmer.
Yes, it is. I'm so excited. We're one day closer to beach weather.
Do you go to the beach a lot during the summer?
Yeah, I try to. Once or twice a week when my friends are home from school.
That's awesome. Do you go to the beach on Long Island or you travel to other places outside New York?
I love Smith's Point Beach. I haven't really been out of state, but I've heard that the beaches in Florida and California are pretty nice.
Oh, I've never been to Smith's Point Beach. Maybe one day this summer I can go. What do you do there? Do you surf or something else?
You've never been to Smith's Point? You have to go, you'd love it. I don't really surf, but my friends and I, we usually play.
Okay, class, let's begin. Take out your notebooks, please, from yesterday.
Oh, maybe we can talk more. A lot.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm Florence.
I am Vanessa.
This example of small talk was both fluid and appropriate. We see in this example that the international student controls the small talk by asking questions about what the fellow student is interested in, the beach. With each answer the fellow student gives, the international student acknowledges a part of it, then returns an additional question to keep the conversation going. This was an example of the conversation skill called repartee. Let us now take a look at an unsuccessful attempt of starting small talk.
It seems the weather is finally getting warmer.
Yeah, it is. I'm so excited. We're one day closer to beach weather.
Do you go to the beach a lot during the summer?
Yeah, I try to go at least once or twice during the week with my friends.
Oh, I can go with you. Here's my number.
When taking a look at this situation, we can see that the international student did make use of a conventional conversation starter, the weather. In America, starting a conversation with the weather is culturally acceptable. As the small talk progressed, we see the effective use of repartee as the international student keeps asking follow-up questions for the fellow student. In small talk, you should always answer a question given to you and add a follow-up question to allow the conversation to continue. Failure to do this may result in what we call an awkward silence. We can see that this conversation went wrong at the point where the international student assumed she could go to the beach with the fellow student, even though they have not even exchanged names. And this made the fellow student very uncomfortable. Giving or asking for personal information, such as a phone number, weight, salary, or age, is usually seen as unacceptable. During small talk, make sure you avoid these topics.